Today I bring to you the tale of Upamanyu and Ayodhya. So this is about an evolving relationship between a teacher and a student. Yes, one of my favorite tales, first told to me by my father, and this tale I completely owe it to him. So during those times, the teacher and the student used to have a very, very different kind of schooling. The schooling itself was very different. The students generally would go and stay in the teacher's house. So a guru means a teacher and kul means his house. So a gurukul meant that the student would stay in the teacher's house like a member of the family. He would just not study, it would just not be academics, but he would also do a lot of household chores. So basically their life skills was also upgraded. So the same way there was a student called Upamanyu who had a teacher called Ayodhya. Every day Upamanyu would study. Academics was happening. One day Ayodhya calls Upamanyu and says, Upamanyu, from tomorrow onwards, right at sunrise, you're going to take the cows from the shed out to graze. Take them to a nice green field so that they can have their stomachs filled. Upamanyu was super happy. He's a little boy, So no academics, just taking the cows out. He was super duper happy. He said, okay. So right at 4 o'clock in the morning, he gets up and he wears his lovely crisp white dhoti, his white scarf, takes out the white cows from the shed, across the ashram, across the lake, and he finds this beautiful village where there's a lovely well, where there are lovely bushes, fruits, everything. And that's an ideal place for the cows to graze because there's a lot of greenery, lot of grass. So the cows are grazing, Upamanyu happily resting under the tree, enjoying himself. Evening, sunset, just before sunset, he gathers the cows, he brings them back to the Guru's ashram. The Guru says, Upamanyu, how was your day? Upamanyu says, it was wonderful, Guruji. And then Guru says, so what did you do? He said, I took the cows, I grazed them, then it was mid-noon and I was hungry. So I just knocked at the doors of the villagers and I asked for some food. They gave me some food. I had food, then I slept also under the tree. And it was very good. Guru says, okay. Did I ask you to beg? Did I ask you to kind of ask food from the villagers? You go and beg from the villagers. You do not even bother to give your guru anything. Did I tell you to do that? He said, no, but I was hungry, so I just thought. Guru Dhamya says, Upamanyu, from tomorrow onwards, I do not want you to beg. No. You will take the cows out to graze. Graze them in the field. Come back. No begging. Because that time students were allowed to beg. They could ask for alms in houses. It was okay. But the Guru said no begging, so Upamanyu had to listen to the Guru. Next morning, Upamanyu wakes up, wears his white dhoti, wears his white scarf, takes the cows out to graze. Grazes them right at sunset. Guru Dhamya sees Upamanyu coming back. Guru Dhamya asks Upamanyu, how was your day? Upamanyu says, it was good. Did you beg? He said no. Next day, same routine. Right at sunset, Upamanyu comes back with the cows. However, Guru Dhamya notices that he has asked this little boy not to eat, but he is looking quite robust and quite healthy. So he actually calls Upamanyu and he says, Upamanyu, have you been begging? He said, no. Upamanyu, are you sure? He said, yes, Guruji, you have told me not to beg. Why will I do that? He said, but Upamanyu, you really look, there's a glow in your face and you're looking very healthy. What have you been doing? He said, Guruji, I did not eat. I did not beg from anybody. But I drank. Guru was like, what did you drink? He said, well, the calves drank milk from their mother. So after the calves finished drinking their share of their milk, I drank the rest of the milk from the cows. Guru said, Upamanyu, why have I asked you to take the cows out to graze? Upamanyu says, so that they can produce more milk and the calves also can get their stomachs filled and all of it. Then aren't you taking away the share of their milk? Upamanyu said, no, I waited. He said, no. From tomorrow onwards, you will not, and I mean you will not, drink the cow's milk. Upamanyu says, okay Guruji, I will not. Sunrise, Upamanyu wears a white dhoti, white scarf, takes the cows out from the shade, across the ashram of the Guru, then across the lake, then again that beautiful picturesque village, which has a well, which has fruits, grasses everywhere. Upamanyu grazes the cows. Comes back in the evening. Guru asks him, did you drink the milk of the cow? He says, no, I didn't. The next day, again, same routine. Third day, Guru calls Upamanyu at sunset. So, Upamanyu, how are you feeling? I'm okay. He was looking slightly down, of course. I'm okay. I'm fine, Guruji. Okay, so have you been eating the food from the village? He said, no, I haven't. Did you drink the milk of the cow? He said, no, I haven't. Guru says, then what is that white, thin, faint line around your mouth? Upamanyu looks at his mouth and he said, oh, this. Actually, I was very hungry. So the calves, after they drank the milk from their mother, there was a foam around their mouth. So I licked that up. Dhaumya said, Upamanyu, I mean nothing from the cow. Nothing. So you will not take food from the beggars. You will not beg food from the villagers. You will not drink from the cow's milk. And you will not lick or anything. You will not do anything. Nothing with the cows. You will let them graze. They will produce more milk. The calves will have their fill. That's it. You will not take anything. I mean it this time, Upamanyu. I don't like what you're doing. Upamanyu said, actually I didn't understand. You told me not to, so I just didn't understand. Guru Dhaumya says, no. That's it. Next day, Upamanyu gets up right in the morning, wears his white dhoti, wears his white scarf, takes the cows out to graze. No means no, so no begging, no milk, not even that foam around the calf's mouth or the cow's mouth. And its sun is right on top of his head. It's mid-noon. Sunset. Guru Dhaumya is sitting with his other students. He's waiting. He sees the cows are coming back. No Upamanyu. Nowhere. Guru Dhaumya was challenging his student. And he can't see one of his favorite students. And he's really worried. And he says, Upamanyu. He looks everywhere. He can't see Upamanyu. He takes his other students and he says, let's look for Upamanyu. And yes, right across the ashram, right across the lake, right across the village, just near that landing where the cows were eating grass, Guru Dhaumya, along with his other two students, reach there and starts calling out for Upamanyu. Upamanyu, Upamanyu, Upamanyu everywhere, but nowhere is Upamanyu. In fact, there was a point of time when that whole place was filled with chants of Upamanyu. It was Upamanyu, Upamanyu. Everybody was calling. The other two students were calling, but nowhere was Upamanyu to be seen. And suddenly, the Guru notices something and his heart skips a beat. Right across, there is a small bush on which there is Upamanyu's white scarf. And when he takes a closer look at the bush, Guru Dhaumya is that much more stressed and tensed. That scarf was on the bush of the Akondo. Akondo leaves are poisonous. And Upamanyu was nowhere to be found, and suddenly he hears a sob. The other students also hear something, and there's a sob, but from somewhere below. They look around, and suddenly, just near that well, the sob was coming near that well. So they came a little forward. They took a peek at the well, and they see Upamanyu crouched, cut, bruised, little boy sobbing. And Dhaumya says, Upamanyu, what's happened to you? Why are you inside this well? Look up! Upamanyu says, Guruji, I can't see. I have turned blind. Guru says, what happened? So when it was mid-noon and Upamanyu was really hungry and he could not beg, he could not drink that cow's milk, he could not even have that foam from the calf, he decided to do something for his hunger. So he plucked the leaves from that bush. When there's real hunger, you can't really see anything. You can't really think much. So he just plucked those leaves. The first two leaves sort of made him feel a little better. Satiated. He had two more leaves. There was a bitter taste in his mouth. But he was really hungry. And then he started eating those leaves. And suddenly, without even realizing it, he could not see anything anymore. And he was looking everywhere, and it was darkness. He started feeling afraid, and he was calling out, Guru, 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 Guru. And he was trying to move around because he could not see. He tripped and fell into the well without even knowing where he was going. Cut, bruised, that little boy was sitting crouched without even being able to see. Guru had tears in his eyes, and Guru says, Upamanyu, my God, you have passed the challenge. The way you have obeyed me is amazing. And now, do something. Sit there in that well and pray. Pray to the Ashwini Kumars. Upamanyu did exactly that. He prayed to the Ashwini Kumars. The Ashwini Kumars were the doctor gods. They were twins. They were the doctor gods. The moment he prayed, right there in the middle of the well, springs up the Ashwini Kumar twins. And right then, they place their warm palms on Upamanyu's eyes. Upamanyu feels a warmth, light on his eyes. He opens his eyes, looks up, sees his Guru with his other friends, reaching out with their hands for Upamanyu to take and come up from the well. The Ashwini Kumar twins bless him and disappear. The other students, his other friends, and the Guru puts out a rope right inside the well. He takes the rope, takes the help, climbs up, reaches where his student and his Guru is. He's now completely able to see. And the Guru says, I'm so happy with you, Upamanyu. I'm so happy with you. I bless you. I bless you that you will be one of my most learned students. And when people will talk about the teacher-student relationship, your name will be taken as an example. And see, so many years later, here I am in front of you talking about a teacher and a student relationship that took place years and years ago. Welcome to the world of Mahabharata.